Hey everyone, welcome to Admit One with G Money. Today, we have the founder and CEO of 9gag, a global multi-platform community for viral content. Founded in 2008, 9gag's mission is to make the world happier. 9gag has a global audience of 200 million over their social media platforms and has decided to take on the world of Web3 with MEMELAND. After launching You the Real MVP in June and the free mint of the Potatoez in July, he's here to discuss their new collection, the Captainz. Please welcome Ray Chan. Hi, Ray. How are you?
Good. Yeah. Thanks for having me.
Thank you for taking the time. I know I think you're based out of Asia, so we have like a significant time difference. So I think that's what kind of made this interview hard to schedule because of our time zones. How's everything over there?
Yes. Yeah. All good. Yeah. But I think it's okay. Yeah. NFT is very global. Yeah. So I'm used to getting up at odd time zones and then have interviews and stuff. Not to mention hang out on Discord till 3 a.m. or 4 a.m. in the morning. Right. That's the Web3 life.
Yeah, dude, same. You know, even on the East Coast, I think I was up till like 1:30 in the morning just hanging out. You know, Discord, Twitter, Telegram, checking everything, right?
Yep.
But before we get into like, I guess your Web3 journey, I guess it's interesting. Like, how did you end up founding 9gag? Like, what was your journey into creating this meme platform even before you got into Web3?
Yeah, sure. I was a good student until university. Yeah, at university I study law. Yeah, but I spent too much time in extracurricular activities, so my academic suck. Yeah, that's why I didn't become a lawyer. After working at a TV station for a year and also at a bank for a few months, I feel like, hey, this is not the type of job that I want to do it for life. That's why I joined an internet startup in 2007 at the time, 2007, yeah. And at the time, it was an online community for book lovers, for readers, yeah. And at that time, I thought, hey, my boss was very young, yeah. I don't think I was that, I mean, he's very smart, right? But I don't think I'm that much stupider, more stupid than him. That's why I thought, hey, if he could start a company, why couldn't I? That's why in the leisure time, I found my younger brother and also some friends. We started to work on a few projects. At first, we launched a review website for cosmetics and stuff. And of course, it doesn't work because 5 guys didn't use any makeup and cosmetics at all, right? And then it failed. But after some time, we thought, hey, maybe we should get back to very simple stuff. Yeah, maybe just build a very simple website for people to share funny pictures and videos, right? Yeah, and that's how we started NIGET in 2008. So it's like more than a decade ago. It's crazy.
Yeah, and like, did things start blowing up right away, or did it take time? Was it like a slow build, and then there was like this one moment when you were like, okay, like, because I assume at the beginning you're like, is this a business? Like, can we do this long term? And then at some point there's like, okay, this is a business. I can actually make a living off this, and like we can push this forward. Was like, what was that moment, and did it happen very early on, or did it take a little while?
Yeah, this is a great question, right? When we started NIGET, that was 2008, right? Until 2011. We only treat it as a side project. Yeah, until 2011, we thought, hey, maybe it's time for us to focus on it, right? Yeah, but we didn't really focus on NIGET. We had an idea of photo sharing at the time. Yeah, around the time that Instagram was launched, yeah, we had an idea of sharing photos. Yeah, and then we used that idea to apply for 500 startups in an accelerator in the US, and we got in. Yeah, and then we ditched the idea during the accelerator. Yeah, and then we work on an online karaoke. Yeah, and then we pitch it. We couldn't raise any funding, right? And then one mentor said, hey, why are you guys working on this funny website, right? Because we stayed till very late at the space, yeah. And then he said he saw that we work on NIGET, right? And he said, hey, why are you sharing funny pictures and stuff? And then we told them NIGET, and then he said, hey, if you have a working website, why don't you just work on it, right? And then after that, we actually spent most of our time on NIGET. That was like 2012, yeah. And we raised a seed funding, and then we joined Y Combinator, which is another US accelerators, yeah. And we started to really treat it as a business. I mean, we are crazy, right? But we were not crazy enough to feel like, hey, sharing funny pictures can be a business. But turns out, yeah, this is our living, yeah.
I mean, I love it. That's amazing. And then I guess let's talk about your Web3 journey for a second. When was it that you found out about Web3? I assume because if you're in the world of memes, you probably heard about crypto really early.
Yep.
So I assume you heard about crypto really early, but then when did you were like NFTs? This is cool too, right? Can you talk a little bit about your Web3 journey overall?
Yeah, sure. I think at the time when I first started to know about crypto, it's like 2017. Yeah, I think around the time that ICO was blowing up, right? Yeah, and some of my friends, they started to work on their own blockchain. Yeah, and then Dogecoin and all other coins, right? They started to pop up. Yeah, and we started to understand more about it. And of course, because of NiGet, because of meme, right? A lot of people approach us and then they say, "Hey, Ray, maybe NiGet should launch a NiGet coin, right? So that we can capture the market and stuff." Yeah, we didn't do it, right? Because at the time, my friend told me how to use MetaMask, and it was like super hard, right? And I'm already kind of like tech savvy already, right? But I still feel like, hey, it's so challenging, right? And at the time, there's no easy way to kind of like convert your fiat money, right, into crypto and stuff, right? Yeah, that's why I thought, hey, fuck it, right? I don't think this is good enough for mass adoption, right? That's why we kind of like didn't work on it. Yeah, and of course, crypto kind of like going down, right, until year 2020 or around 2020, right? Crypto start to pick up again. Yeah, and then at the time, some of my friends still continue to work on their blockchain, and then he asked us, hey, maybe you should relook at crypto again because the experience is improved. Yeah, and maybe it's worth understanding more, right? That's why I started to buy some Bitcoin and buy Ethereum. I remember the time that I bought Ethereum is 200. Yeah. And I was already feel like, hey, it's so expensive, right? And then I bought it, and then I try out different DeFi stuff, and then to understand how it works, right? Yeah, and until like the end of 2021, yeah, I still haven't bought any NFT because I felt like, hey, why would people spend millions of dollars on a JPEG, right? It feels like a scam, right? It feels like a scam to trick people to give them Ethereum. Yeah, that was my thought. Yeah, until I actually started to buy my first NFT and then started to join more community. Then I can actually feel the power of NFT, and somehow I feel like, hey, maybe it is even more powerful application of blockchain than crypto. Yeah, that's why we started our own project, and that was like April this year.
Okay, cool. And I want to get into that in a second, but what were the first communities that you bought into when, like, I guess when you first heard about NFTs, and then or I guess what was the community where when you joined, you were like, that was your aha moment and you're like, wow, I was wrong. I need to start focusing on this, more of my time on this.
The first NFT that I bought was a Bored Ape. Yeah, because I thought, hey, maybe if you buy, right, you buy the good collection, right? Yeah, the top collection. Yeah, I should have bought a punk or something, right? But anyway, yeah, Bored Ape was really hot at the time.
There's still time to buy a punk.
Yeah, always, right? It's always a good time to buy punk, right? Yeah, yeah, and when I bought it, right, we posted on NiGet social media, right, and then we got a lot of backlash, yeah, because I think a lot of people, they have a bad experience or also bad impression of NFT. That's why we got a lot of backlash and stuff, right? And then I started to join the Discord of Bored Apes, but the experience was not very pleasant in the sense that it feels a little bit empty. Yeah, because it's more like GM, right? Most of the time it's like people greetings each other, right? But there's not much context. I'm not saying that it's bad. It's just lower than my expectation. Maybe I expected too much. Yeah, but anyway, yeah. And then I started to feel like, hey, maybe. Pardon.
So what did you expect? I guess that's a good question too.
I expected that because the holders, right? I feel like, hey, if you are kind of like a visionary to buy a JPEG at such a low price and it increased like 10x or 100x, I feel like, hey, maybe they would talk more about blockchain. Maybe they would talk more about the application of NFT, right? But it feels like a lot of them are kind of like traders or traders is a good name, right? Flippers is another name, but basically more like trade NFT to make profit instead of seeing NFT as actually something that can change the world. I'm not saying that it's wrong. It's basically kind of like finance guy, right? But somehow, if you are a true economics guy, you kind of like don't expect, hey, finance is this way. Yeah, it's kind of like that. Yeah, that's why I started to talk to more friends and ask them, hey, what are some NFTs that have a very strong community, right? Yeah, and then my friend Captainz, right, he introduced me to a few communities, and then I decided to join a few of them. For example, like Kaiju Kings, Gutter Cat Gang. Yeah, I mean the one I would say call kind of like the mid-tier one. Yeah, because the thing is, I mean, when I look back, I feel like, hey, this is indeed one of the best decisions that I have in Web3, which is because when the collections is already at very, very top, yeah, basically the holders, they make a lot of money, right? And also the team, they kind of like move on to the next stage. Yeah, in that sense, they won't participate that much in the community. So I couldn't really learn a lot from the team, from the community. Yeah, but for, I would say, something like mid-tier projects, right? Yeah, they're up and coming. That's why the team are still working very hard. The community was still very excited. Yeah, that's how I learned the most from Web3. Yeah, so I'm very blessed. I'm really glad that I joined those communities. And basically, I don't really sell anything. Yeah, that's why I'm still holding the bag, even though they are maybe down some 50%, 90%. It doesn't matter. But I feel like, hey, the learning is basically priceless. Yeah.
Yeah, well, I mean, I think you bring up a really valid point there, right? Of the top tier projects, and you see this in crypto all the time, where it's like people that have been in Bitcoin since 2012, like there's very few of them that are still around, right? Because like, people that were like, yeah, I was mining Bitcoin back in the day when it was like a couple bucks, like, if they're still holding on to that Bitcoin, like they don't need, they have talk about making it, like they made it, right? They don't need to worry about anything ever again. And so like such a small number of them are still around, right? So to your point is like when I meet somebody that's like 2012 or earlier and they're talking about like still building, I'm like, whoa, I'm like, you're actually mission driven, right? But that number is still so small. And then, when you get to 2017, that number's like much higher because there's some people that like, made a shit ton of money and some people that are still working towards it or whatever. So it's like, to your point of like those mid-tier ones, right? Where it's like where the community, they made some money, but they haven't necessarily been like, okay, I can retire and live off this forever. So the engagement is like way higher, right? So the quality of the discussion is better. And I feel like the community around it is much better, right? And, it's funny you mentioned the stuff about the focus on the financial aspect of it. And this was like a really conscious decision I made at the beginning with Admit One. And I even said this internally to my team is like, I never want to talk about the sale price of the Admit One ever, right? Because like the sales price is irrelevant, right? Because we gave it away for free, right? And it's like ultimately like expectations, people, mania, whatever happens, I can't control what the prices of the token's going to do. What I can control is how we react and how we perform. And so it's like, to me, it's like, even in my Discord, like, I don't like it when people talk about the price. Yeah, every once in a while it's fine. People get excited. But I don't want people to be focused on what is the team doing to make the price of the token go up today. I think like over the course of time, when you execute, that will be, shown in not only the price, but also the quality of the community that gets built. But like, I think to your point exactly is like on those like mid tiers or low where the team is still building themselves out. I think that's where like a lot of the alpha is. And it's not just alpha from a price perspective, right?
Yeah, totally. I think price is a good indicator in some sense because if a project is really shitty, right, it wouldn't be able to sustain a high price for a long time. Yeah, that's why if I don't have that much time, yeah, and because at the end of the day, I still have a company to run. I still have my life, right? Yeah, so I think, but of course, I'm like I'm more like an exception in the sense that I have the resources to kind of like to buy a lot of so-called mid-tier NFTs or even some top-tier NFTs, right? Yeah, but I think most people, they don't have the luxury to do that. And for me, of course, because the whole purpose for me to buy NFT is not actually to flip it for profit, right? I really want to understand this new technology because I feel like, hey, I feel like this is very special, right? But But how can I learn the most, right? Of course, I have to get my skin in the game, learn from the so-called sensei, right? The teachers, right? Or the senior in the space, yeah. And through this kind of process, I started to get a better understanding of NFT and also, I would say, in Web3 in general. So I think the whole because I think that's also a joke that I share with MEMELAND community is most people they pay to earn, right? For me, I pay. I pay to learn, right? Yeah, it's not earn, but more about learning. Yeah.
Yeah, we have the same exact philosophy. When I first entered the NFT space, I remember a lot of my friends, because I come from finance, right? So I would be trading and then I'd put, I remember on the sushi hack, I don't know if you were in crypto back then, but when sushi got hacked in August of 2020 and the price went, I think from either $20 or $11 down to $2 on the hack, I lost money. I was staked, right? And I was earning sushi and the rewards and all that shit. And, I think I had $5,000 in it. And my friends were like, oh, big whoop, $5,000 because, we were trading equities. And so the numbers were bigger. And I'm like, dude, I'm learning, this is my education, right? This is the cost of education. And I remember I took at one point, I was the biggest loan on NFT because I took a $25,000 loan against a crypto kitty. And at the time, that was the biggest loan ever taken on chain against an NFT. And again, the numbers today are laughable compared to, back then. But I was just learning. I'm like, okay, well, if I'm going to figure this out, I think the numbers are going to get bigger. I learned by doing. I could sit there and read it all I want and I could read people's opinions. But until I actually have skin in the game, that's we have the same exact philosophy. For me, it's pay to learn, right? It's by me putting things, I don't have the expectation of profit. Profit would be great, but it's almost going to college, right? And getting that education, but it's a real world education, right? So
yep.
Yeah.
Exactly. I think that's the reason why I feel so many people, I mean, a lot of my friends, they come from normal background, right? They're not tech and stuff. A lot of them are lawyers and stuff. Yeah. And they will kind of standing outside of the crypto circle, right? And then they read a lot of articles and then to read the analysis by certain influencer, by certain professor and stuff, right? And then they will discuss with me whether this is decentralized enough, whether this is good enough, right? And the thing is, they never really buy any crypto. Yeah, and no matter how I say, right, hey, maybe you should buy some so that you can get to understand why this is revolutionary, right? Because for me, let me cite one example. Yeah, because of NiGet, right, we do a lot of business with people all over the world. Yeah, so we have to wire money, right? And for crypto, and in normal cases, when we wire, hey, we get the banking information of the other side, yeah, and then have to set up in our own bank, right? And then we have to pay the fee and then pay the sum, and then we have to wait for 3 days, right? And maybe they will bounce back, maybe they will get it, right? Yeah, but for crypto, you got the address of that guy, and then you send it, right? And it's at most maybe a few minutes, right? Yeah. It just can't go back, right? And you know that, hey, when attack is like that, this will not go away, no matter how people say this is a trap or scam or stuff, right? But this tech is definitely revolutionary. Yeah.
Yeah. To your point exactly, it's so funny because I'm at the point now where whenever I listen to a pitch and somebody's raising money, I'm like, okay, can I pay you in crypto? And if they say no, then I kind of the chances of me investing become significantly lower because now it's at the point where every time I'd say maybe 50% of the time that I send a wire, my account gets frozen and I have to call and I have to verify that it's me. And then they ask me, what are the funds for? And I'm like, who cares what the funds are for? It's my fucking money. Let me do what I want with it, right? And so it's dude, I lose more time now sending wires because I can't even get anybody on my team to say, oh yeah, this is, I am G Money, right? I have to call. So I have to be okay, I can't be as productive as I want to be because I have to unblock my account and I'm the only person that can call. And it's to your point, it's that compared to, okay, give me your address. You're going to have this in 30 seconds, right? It's it's a no brainer, right? It's
exactly
over the course of time, that's where we're going, right?
Yeah, exactly.
So I want to, I guess I want to start transitioning and talking about, okay, you enter into the space, you become part of these communities, and you're like, okay, I understand NFTs. Then at what point were you like, I want to start my own project? And what problem were you looking to solve with the project that you wanted to start? Like, what was the goal of starting the project?
Basically, when I first started to buy my NFT in January this year, right? I mean, the goal was always about, hey, can we leverage this technology to build something much bigger than NiGet, right? Yeah, after working on NiGet for 14 years, I mean, to be honest, it gets boring. It gets boring, right? So I don't have to work on the day-to-day operation. I have a team. They are very capable. They're very good. They will do that, right? And somehow I want to work on something that get me excited. Yeah, that's why when I understand more about NFT, I thought, hey, this is game changing, right? That's why I bought the Bored Ape. That's why I try to learn, right? And that's why basically we starting from the very first NFT, I want to start our own project, our own company in Web3. Yeah, yeah, but the funny thing is, I mean, just like crypto, right? NFT, the space moves really, really quickly, right? The meta keeps changing.
Yeah.
And the moment that I learned about, hey, how Bored Ape did their launch, hey, what is mutant, right? What's the serum stuff, right? How do they handle the thing, right? And then at the time when I bought Kaiju Kings, right, CyberCons was already there, and Kaiju Kings was also the one that can breed daily tokens, right? The one in Kaiju Kings is called Always. For CyberCons, it's called Bananas, right? I thought, hey, this is fucking brilliant, right? Because for NFT, if I have to make money, I have to sell my NFT. But if I really like my NFT, I don't really want to sell it, right? So I mean, this is like a dilemma. I'm not Franklin, right? That's why I just keep trading Bored Ape, right? Yeah, but somehow I buy the NFT that I like, and then I want to hold it. What if there's a way that I can hold my NFT but also get some passive income, so that, hey, I know that this is worth holding? Yeah, that's why when I started to learn more about the NFT with token, I think that model, I think it was a mind-blowing experience for me, and that's kind of like get me started to learn more about, hey, how can we leverage NFT as a way to build community? But I would say the main dish, right, is to launch our token in a way that is useful. Yeah, because I started from, I would say, crypto and DeFi, right? And after buying different cryptos for some time, the main question is, how many people are actually using that token, right? You can, I mean, even though the tech is really good or is really bad, right? But the thing is, this is technology, right? You have to have people to use it to become valuable. Yeah. So how many people are actually using, for example, like Cardano, right, or Ethereum or Solana, right? Sometimes there are a lot of developers developing apps for them, but I feel like, hey, maybe NFT can be something even much better. Because when all the cryptos, or maybe like 99% of the cryptos, are trying to disrupt the finance industry, right? There's so many other industry that can be, I would say, improved by crypto, yeah, by NFT, yeah, because basically it decentralize the ownership, right? So that we can kind of like take Facebook or take Instagram, and then we kind of like decentralize it, right? And all the creators, they can get a share, right? They can grow with the community, they can grow with the platform. I think that's always our I would say that the mission to, hey, can we apply NFT and other blockchain tech to build a creator economy, to build a social media? Yeah, that's how we think about the whole NFT and crypto thing. Yeah.
Right. And you know, I want to say that I totally agree with you, right? Like a lot, like I was just at DevCon a few weeks ago, and there were so many smart people there building so many like incredible protocols. But like I feel like right now where we're at in crypto is we have people that are building these 10-lane highways when there's like 5 cars on the road. Right. And it's like, and that's why, like, for me, like what I wanted to do with 90cc is like, okay, well, let me start using some of the protocols that I think are really interesting. And like, I'm not trying to build a tech platform. Like what does a consumer facing brand look like utilizing crypto technology across the board and using decentralized infrastructure, right? And so like, to me, is like, I'm really focused on the application layer, because the application layer is where you bring in the masses, right? I think we've seen that with Instagram and Facebook, Google, Apple, all these companies. They built on the application layer on top of the internet, right? Like they weren't just like, here, you know, log into the TCP. Like, I mean, I don't know if you're old enough to remember, I used to log into like ICQ and Napster and all this shit to download shit And like, this was like super counterculture back then that like my mom definitely would have never done it. But today my mom can like my picture in a second, right? Like, and that's where crypto is going to go long term. But people like yourself, like myself, are going to be the ones that kind of build that application layer that makes it user friendly, that it's like, oh, hey, you're a really smart developer. You're building something incredible. Let me use your tech and build something that people actually want, right? This is like, this goes back to like that meme, right? The Trojan horse meme, right? Yeah. Where people are like, hey, look, JPEGs. And then it's like inside, it's like crypto, right? Because people don't, at the end of the day, most people don't fucking care like what the tech is behind it. They just want it to work as easily as possible. And the key is for us to get it to work as easily as possible, right? Where people actually have sovereignty and being able to own their assets. So it's not where it's like, oh, you violated the rules, like we take back all your shit, right? So I agree with you.
And I think it also depends on the background and also the capability of that person, right? For me, I'm not really a tech guy. Of course, I work in a tech company, right? But I'm not really the tech guy, right? And that's why when I think about a problem or an opportunity, I think about more from the user standpoint. Yeah. But for a tech guy, right? Of course, they think about the tech, because that is the most fascinating part to them, right? I mean, that's why we can't build company that we don't know, right? We can't build things that we don't know, right? So I think in that sense, that explains why, hey, you are working on something that you kind of know, and then you will apply the tech to them, right? Because at the end of the day, there's nothing new under the sun. Basically, it's like a remix of different ideas, right? You can take blockchain, remix it with fashion, right? I can take blockchain, remix it with social media. That's how you can create new things, yeah. And I believe that on one hand, there are some really, really good tech guys. They focus on the tech, but also it requires people like us to focus on the application. That's how we can get the, I would say, reach the mass adoption, yeah.
Right. Yeah, I totally agree. And so when you started MEMELAND, what was the goal? Like, what was your original goal with like, okay, this is what I want to start with the community. This is how and I'm sure that's evolved so much over the course of the last few months that your original intention is probably different from where you are now because of the meta and the market changing. But like, what was your original goal for starting MEMELAND? And what is it now? Like how has it evolved since then?
Yeah, I mean the goal was always the same. Yeah, because even from the start, I kind of feel like all the so-called roadmap thing in NFT is kind of like stupid. Yeah, I mean, yeah, I don't try to be offensive, right? But it feels stupid in the sense that, hey, how do you know what happens tomorrow, right? How can you plan out the roadmap, right? Because after launch, you will see so many new challenges, right? And those are the things that you can't foresee, right? And giving our roadmap kind of like limiting what the team can respond. Yeah, because if you don't follow the roadmap, basically you are kind of like breaking your promise, right? But if you follow the roadmap and then it goes to shit probably, right? So I think that feels like very much like the business competition in university. Hey, Deloitte or maybe like PwC, they come to launch a business competition and then you just submit a plan, right? I think a plan and a roadmap kind of like that things, right? But after building 9gag for a decade, right, I feel like, hey, we need a very clear mission so that we don't deviate that much. We don't just chase the hot new thing, but we want to focus on what we are good at, what we really want to solve, So the mission for us is always about how we can bridge the Web 2 and Web 3 community. But it sounds very cliche because all the NFT projects are saying that, right? But the thing is, most projects, they haven't got a foothold in Web 3. They didn't have shit in Web 2 as well. Yeah, so I feel like, hey, they only talk about it. But for us, because of 9gag, because of our, I would say, our audience, our user base, right, we kind of like 40%, 50% job done, right? But we have to understand how Web3 works. That's why the mission is always the same. But after starting our project, right, we feel like, hey, the industry really moves very quickly. I mean, on one hand, NFT depends a lot on the crypto prices, right? And crypto is also getting more and more connected to traditional finance. So basically, it's like variable on variable. So that's how we feel like, hey, maybe we should not too fixated on what we really want to build, but be flexible, be water, right? Or in some sense. That's why we launched the UW MVP. It's kind of like admit one, but we launched it, but this is a payment because we feel like it would be the best way to get a group of people so that they can, on one hand, they can be our focus group. On the other hand, we can also build with them, right? Because the good thing is when they are holders, they will give you honest opinion from the stuff that you build instead of just, hey, every teammates, right? They get paid by me, right? They get paid by their employers. Of course, they want to say something that you like. Yeah. That's why we launched the You the Real MVP. And then we got a lot of back then, because we minted it at 5.3 ETH. The next day, the second day that Luna and UST crashed. And we didn't set the price. We did a blind auction, right? And then in our Discord to set the price. But after the crash, I mean, I would say half the people didn't honor their bid, because we were so naive, right? Didn't ask for any deposit and stuff, And then, but at least we got 200 people minted. The whole collection is 420, and then we minted the remaining one back to our treasury, and then we thought, hey, fuck, it seems like we started it really, really badly, because we didn't even mint out our first collection, right? And the collection is very small, So we keep thinking how we can continue our Web3 journey. I mean, we will do it anyway, but how to do it? That's the challenge, right? But we are lucky, right? Because on one hand, we have the resources. On the other hand, we kind of like get in touch with the space quite closely so that we learn from what other people, especially the good teams, are doing, right? And I remember in June, late June and July, globlintown was really, really hot, right? And then it kickstarted the free mint meta. That's why we started the Potatoez. It's a free mint. The whole idea was...
You mean it wasn't the Emit One free mint?
But Emit One is a smaller collection.
The globlintown and Emit One, I think we were right around the same time. I forgot.
Honestly, I was very naive.
But that was the beginning of that meta, right? It was like that free mint meta started like early summer, right?
Oh yeah, totally. I mean, for Emit One, right? The moment that I knew it, I think it's like maybe like in August or something. I mean, I didn't follow a lot of crypto or NFT influencer, right? Because I'm in that influencer business, right? So I know that a lot of influencers are just BS. That's why I don't really follow a lot of them, right? I follow you, but I didn't really look at a lot of news and stuff, right? So I didn't follow closely. Because at the end of the day, when we want to launch a MEMELAND, right, it is targeting the mass market. That's why small collection is not something that we pay close attention to. And then
I didn't mean to took you off topic there, but what was what was the learnings you saw from globlintown that you were like, besides the free mint, where you're like, okay, like this is going to be like how we, build the community from here, which incentivize your next free mint with Potatoez.
I mean, for globlintown, I know Alex from the team. I knew him way back. I think maybe like at least 10 years ago. And we are not very close, but I knew him. And then when I look at globlintown, I think there are a few things that give me the blink, oh, this is good, that moment. Number one is they have very funny, right, Twitter Spaces, right? I think that's first thing. Oh, they can leverage Twitter Spaces in this way, right, so that people feel like they are fun. And then second thing they did really well is they kind of like stay very mysterious. Of course. I mean, this is like good or bad because there were a lot of speculations that hey, globlintown was related to Yuga, right? And that's why they pump really hard at the beginning, right? But they somehow they know how to play the storytelling, the mystery part, right? And then they are also the one that say that, hey, there's no roadmap, no promise. And they focus a lot on that. And they are also the one that do the CC0 stuff, right? So I think they try and new things into one project and they execute very, very well. And that gets us thinking, oh, maybe if we don't think about the revenue side of things, maybe a free mint is a good way. Because we can lower the expectation of the holders, right? Because hey, they didn't pay anything. That's why they don't demand that much. But by the way, this is I have to go back to this part because this is like a misunderstanding when I look back. But the thing is, because we launched a small collection, right? We haven't really built an NFT community. So, or even or a bigger one, right? For example, like a 10K collection and stuff. So what if we fuck up, right? Because when you look at the projects, right, a lot of projects, they fuck up at memes, yeah. And a lot of rug pull, indeed, they did a very good minting experience, because when you rug so many times, right, you do it really, really well.
Yeah, you know how to do it.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So we thought, hey, maybe we could do a free mint, not that much a burden and obligation, right? And then we can try to actually build an NFT community from there, right? And then that's why we started Potatoez, yeah. And then we also want to learn from Goblin and also other projects. Hey, can we add some micro innovation into it, so to make the collection more interesting, right? That's why we introduce the gradual review. So you have to grow your potatoes, right? We will be reviewing the last stage next week. Yeah, but growing is something that is very interesting. Yeah, for us and also for our holders. Yeah, yeah,
So
and also pardon?
Is that almost like staking?
I mean, growing and also staking, they are related, because you have to grow it, yeah, in order for your potatoes to upgrade to different stages. Yeah. Yeah, right. But for staking, right? I mean, the biggest innovation that I've known is from in NFT is nesting from Moonbergs, right? I'm a holder. Right. That's why, hey, I kind of like see it firsthand. I thought, hey, it's fucking brilliant, right? Basically, borrow the concept from crypto, so that you kind of like lock in the user, but at the same time, you also give something back, so that the users feel like, the holders feel like, hey, I'm actually investing in the ecosystem. That's why I got something back, right? But whether people like the rewards like Fanny Pack and stuff, that's another story. But somehow the whole mechanism is genius, is brilliant. Yeah, that's why when we launch the Potatoez, we also have our growing, we have our staking called growing, right? On one hand, your artwork will change over time. On the other hand, we also give out some reward. The way that we do it is a little bit different. Basically, you stick it, you grow it, and then every 7 days you get one ticket. Yeah, and then you can use that ticket to participate in our weekly raffle, weekly prize draw. Because from the experience of NineGag, I know that people's attention span is very short, right? If you ask them to stick for 30 days without giving them anything, right? Basically, it doesn't work. Yeah, I mean, Moonbergs works because of the team, because of Kevin Rose, right? But for us, we have to make it more interesting. That's why we have the prize draw, and that's how we leverage our treasury to kind of like give back to the community. Because every prize draw, the basic price is one MVP, which is the floor price, I think is around 30 ETH right now, and then also 10 potatoes. Potatoes is around 1.5, 1.3 ETH. Yeah, so basically you just stick with us, and then you get a chance to win, I would say, valuable prizes. And we also work with different partners to give away more interesting prize. Yeah, for example, we gave away iPhone 14 Pro. We gave away McDonald's for free for 1 year. We also give away some gym stipend and stuff, right? Try to make it fun for the holders. Yeah.
Yeah, and so and I don't want to pivot totally here, but like a question that I really had coming into this conversation, and I'd love to hear your opinion on it, because I've seen a couple pitch decks over the last year and a half, 2 years on this. How do you monetize a meme? Like, because it's like I've seen a lot of people being like, we're going to make a meme marketplace, right? And like, listen, I'm a member of Pleaser DAO, so I own a piece of the Dogecoin meme, right? The picture of the Shibu, the original, right? Where it's like staring at you. I own a piece of that, right? It's made, we bought it from the original. We have the provenance. But in reality, outside, because it's like, I've seen a lot of people try to figure it out, but I haven't seen it like, I'd love to know your thoughts on it, because I haven't seen an elegant solution. And I know since you've been in the business for so long, what are your thoughts on it? And is it even possible to monetize a meme?
I mean, it's possible, right? For example, Pleaser DAO bought the Doge original image, right? So the original creator make profit, right? I think that's why it's possible. Yeah, but yeah. I feel like I mean, it has to go back to the definition of meme, right? I think on one hand, the broader definition is everything that is valuable and popular, right? We can see it as meme, because meme is kind of like a common value that we have to a certain kind of thing, right? For example, CryptoPunk somehow is a meme, right? Money somehow is a meme, right? And that is like the the high level definition, right? But if we talk about meme, it's kind of like the funny pictures and stuff. I feel like because content creation is getting so easy this day, it's so easy to pump out new memes every second, right? So somehow it's really, really hard for a meme to stay relevant. Yeah, and after just a short time. Yeah, that's why if you want to monetize that, I think it's really hard. Yeah, but I think there are a few ways that can do so, right? On one hand, hey, you can become like the meme guy so that people know that you're creative, right? Yeah, then you can monetize it by providing consultant service or maybe make a creative agency, right? So meme is just your work, but not your product, right? You are the product, right? I think that's one way. Another way is I mean, maybe kind of like IP play. I know that, for example, like Pepe, right? Yeah, Matt Fury. I think he owned Pepe, right? He created Pepe, but basically he didn't enforce the rights very strictly. Yeah, that's why it got really, really popular. It become like a phenomenon. Yeah. Anyway, become a hot topic, right? Yeah. Shit, I can't say it. Yeah.
No worries.
But the thing is, by doing that, you prove that, hey, you are like a big guy, a cool guy, right? Then you can also monetize that, right? But if you are talking about the direct monetization of the meme, I think it would be really, really hard because the life cycle of a meme is getting shorter and shorter.
Right.
Yeah. But somehow I feel like, go ahead.
I tend to agree with that, right? Because I think you've even seen this in art, right? Where some artists will release stuff, right? Slowly, right? You maybe initial price isn't that high, but then, once there's like, we've seen this with Xcopy, we've seen this with Tyler Hobbs, we've seen this with multiple artists across the space where, they're like their meme, right? Their meme value gets bigger, right? Because they get a bigger following. Then they do a bigger drop and then they monetize on, millions of dollars. And that's how they get paid, right? It's like not off, let's say the original meme, right? It's more of being like, hey, I'm somebody that you want to care about because this is my body of work. This is my next body of work. And then there'll be like more demand for that, right?
Yeah, totally. And also it depends on the category of the meme, right? If it is like kind of like a random stock photo, right? But just add some text on it, then it's really, really hard to monetize it, right? Because on one hand, the guy who created that meme, they don't own the right, right? But if you are kind of like creating the meme and you can continue to create new content around that meme, that can be very powerful, right? For example, Xcopy, right? If we see his artwork, his collection as kind of like a meme, basically he keeps creating new meme, right? And I think that is valuable. Yeah. So I feel like if we look at meme as a broad definition, look at it as a content and stuff, I think there are many ways to monetize. But as a creator, you have to continue to create new content because you can't just rely on the old meme and then just sit on it. I mean, the whole thing of blockchain is all about ownership and stuff, right? But somehow you can't just rely on one content to set for life. It's not like that anymore, right? Yeah.
Right. No, I agree. And it's not like that. It wasn't like that really before either, right? Like I feel like a lot of overnight success is a lot of hard work, right? Like people are like, oh, you got so lucky that happened so quickly. It's like, you weren't there when, I was working 20 hours a day and like, busting my ass off because I'm not out there in public talking about it. But like overnight success takes a long time to happen, right?
Yeah, totally. Yeah. That's why I think following up with the meme question, right? Personally, I'm not very bullish on NFT project that focus a lot on so-called building the IP, right? Because good IP isn't get built this day, right? I mean, tons of top tier studios, right? They pump out new IP, but they don't even work. Not all of them work, right? For example, when you look at Marvel, Disney, right? Some characters, you don't even know them, right? But they're like, they got the most talented people and artists in the world, right? Yeah. Right. And if you look at like in Japan, right? Sanrio, the owner of Hello Kitty and Kirby, right? I mean, they have a lot of characters that you don't even know. Yeah. So I feel like any NFT project with a very small team with no strong background, right? When they say that, hey, I want to create an IP play, I think it's really, really, I'm not saying that it's impossible, but it's really hard. Because even for meme, that is like viral in nature, right? It doesn't stick long, right? Not to mention, you manually create something and then you want to promote it, right? It's not like Gundam or One Piece, right? Those are really good content. But when you look at how that piece of content get viral, right? The comic, the artist, right? The author, right? They pump out a lot of good content way before their hits, right? So as you mentioned, overnight success, it takes many likes, yeah.
Right. Yeah, no, I agree. Thank you for sharing that because like it's funny because I've seen so many pitches over the last year and a half of people trying to figure out a way for if I create a meme or let's say like the stock photo of the meme that ends up getting reused, like how can me as the creator get paid off of it? But it's like so hard, right? Because like how do you enforce that, right? Because it's like if I see like a funny photo, me as like as somebody else, right? I'm just gonna screenshot it. I'm just going to change the words to like, you know, the topic that I want it. And then I help it go viral. But like, why would I pay to use that? Right. Like, it's like, you know, that's almost like one of those things where it's like right click save. It's like, I'm just trying to do something funny. I'm not going to pay to make a joke. Right. Like, it's like, I just don't think people necessarily think that way. So I appreciate you shedding light on it because I like every time I sit on a pitch like that, I'm like, I don't get it. I don't think this is scalable. I don't know if this necessarily works. So I appreciate you taking the time on that. I want to get into the Captainz, right? Because we spoke about you the real MVP, Potatoez, and now what's coming up with Captainz and what's your goal and what are you looking to do with that?
Yeah, sure. Before talking about Captainz, right, I want to talk about the relationship between the three collections, right? One of the books that I like a lot is Whatever You Think Opposite, right? So when we started to think about MEMELAND, right, of course we launched the MVP. Is like taking references from MEME1 or Proof, right? It's like a premium membership pass. But when we launch a bigger collection, we launched the lower tier collection first, yeah, because it's kind of like we launch oddities, right, before launching Moonbergs. We launch beans before launching Azuki, right? It's kind of like that, right? The reason is we want to make use of Potatoez to learn as much as possible and set the expectation lower, right? And at product building, right, the holy grail is always under promise, over deliver, right? So by launching Potatoez, we understand how the NFT degen thinks. Yeah, that's why we can deliver some products that they like, right? Yeah, that's why after Potatoez, yeah, we took enough time to think about, hey, how we want to position the Captainz, which is our main collection, and we will be launching it in Q4. Yeah, and a lot of people say that, hey, you took so much time, blah blah blah, right? But the thing is, if you are here for 5 years, for 10 years, right? I mean, a month, 2 months, it doesn't really matter that much. Yeah. But for the Captainz, right? Basically, we try to see it as like the premium tier of the 10K collection comparing to Potatoez. Yeah. What we try to do is, can we pair, on one hand, we give more utilities to the Captainz because as I mentioned in the beginning, right, fungible token, the token play is actually the main dish, right? So, but we also want to add a story to it so that if it get humanized, and that's how we can build a community, right? You can't really build a community by just giving them money, right? You have to give them some emotion, some attachment. That's why they feel like they're attached to the PFP, they're attached to the NFT. Yeah. So we launched the Captainz collection as the premium collection, and you can make use of the Potatoez as a whitelist so that you can get to mint the Captainz. Yeah, and somehow Captainz will enjoy more utilities, and they have direct functions related to meme coin. Yeah, which we will be dropping later. Yeah, because I feel like, as I mentioned, right, I keep learning from the best players in town. When we look at Bored Ape, when we look at Yuga, right, yeah, basically they launch ApeCoin. Yeah, it's because, hey, no matter how big your NFT collection is, it's like maybe a few 100 million market cap, right? Only the fungible token play, right, can be much, much bigger. Because when you look at crypto market, even some shitcoin, they have like 300 million US dollars market cap. Yeah. So that's how we think about the whole ecosystem. But MVP, Captainz, and Potatoez, basically, they are like the starter for us to launch our meme coin. But because the meme coin is focusing on the creator economy, but we should not be the one that are talking to creators. We should let the fans talk to the creators that they like, right? So if they get meme coin by holding Captainz, right, then they kind of like the marketer and the ambassador, right? And in order for meme coin to be valuable, they have to get creators to accept it, to use it, right? Then they are the one who will go out to their favorite creators and onboard them into the products that we are building, right? And that's how the high-level strategy, when we think about it. Because I think I also do angel investing from time to time, I also see a lot of pitch saying that, hey, we try to bridge Web 2 and Web 3 for content creators, create a new platform and stuff. But the thing is, creators are very straightforward, right? Most of them, they want to focus on creating content. And they hate doing ads, but they have to do ads because that's how they make a living, right? That's why I feel like Web 2, this is the thing that doesn't work. Yeah, because the incentive doesn't really align for all the key parties. Yeah, but for Web 3, it's totally possible. Because, for example, hey, if you have a hardcore fan base, right? Even just 1,000 people pay you, right? Maybe like $100 a month, you can make a decent living already. Yeah, and blockchain and NFT enables these kind of long tail creators. Yeah, and that's why I'm very bullish in it. But at the same time, I'm also very cautious in the sense that, hey, it's really hard to get creators to jump into a new platform. Yeah. Because, for example, like a guy in Instagram, right? He got 1 million followers there. First of all, that 1 million followers may not follow him to the new platform. Second of all, among that 1 million followers, how many of them understand NFT? How many of them understand crypto? How many of them will actually pay, right? That's why we have to kind of like figure out the supply side, which is like the money part, which is like the mechanism part, before we onboard the creators. Yeah, that's how we think about the strategy. But that's why we have that's why we have a product. We call it GMGM. Yeah, we got the domain gmgm.com. That on the website we say that it's like OnlyFans in Web3. Yeah, but clothing is required. Yeah, but basically, I feel like Patreon, Kickstarter, OnlyFans, they kind of like solving a good problem in Web2. But I feel like with crypto, with NFT, we can probably put that on steroid. And that's the product that we are building, right? Another product that we are building is called holders.com. Yeah, it's kind of like TripAdvisor for Web3 projects. Yeah. People say that DYOR, right? Do your own research. But when you join NFT, it's so hard to find the resources, right? If you just follow some crypto or NFT influencer, they don't really talk about useful content. Yeah. Most of them don't talk about useful content. And their content is kind of like useless after some time, right? And all the good communities, right? When you share some analysis or sharing on Twitter, basically it's really hard to find the information as well. So holders.com is trying to solve that. We want to become, let's say, like a review hub, for NFT projects. Yeah. On one hand, we let the holders connect with each other. On the other hand, we also let the useful information can be found very, more easily. Yeah. So we onboard. Build a community, launch MemeCon, get creators, but also build platform and products for them to make use of the MemeCon. Yeah, that's our, I would say, high level direction. Yeah.
Okay, I love it. And so when and the Captainz is obvious. So Captainz is almost like the Moonbirds of your ecosystem.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
When is the mint, and have you determined how you're going to determine price?
Because we have two collections, right? We have MVP and also Potatoez, right? The pricing, we will try to benchmark it with our main collection, with our two collections. Because, I mean, at this market, right? I think people are very cautious of the meme price. And to be honest, a lot of people in NFT, they are in it for profit, right? So somehow we have to set a price that is enough for us to build, but also I would say good enough for the traders, right, to make money, right? That's why we haven't decided the price, but we will keep monitoring the market. For the minting, we are targeting Q4. Yeah. So in these 2 months, that's why I'm talking to you, trying to do so-called roadshow, right, to get more exposure, so that to tell our vision, right, our story, right, to the broader audience. Yeah. Because I feel like one bad thing about community is when you are in that community, basically, you are living in a bubble. Yeah. People say that I love you, I love you, I love you. I want to mean, no matter how expensive I want to mean, right? But from what I see, most of the time it's not really that case. Yeah, that's why we have to tread the water very, very carefully to make sure that, hey, we mint in a good way so that we can kickstart our, I would say, grand plan. Yeah, have a good start. Yeah, and that's what we do it. Yeah, that's how we do it. Yeah, and somehow it's very interesting because I come from a Web2 background, right? I've been building companies for decades. Yeah. I feel like there are so many things that's like basic requirement for running and building a business. But it seems like they are so lacking in Web3. Yeah. For example, like a good product management, right? Deliver on time, and also have a good customer experience and stuff like that, right? It should be a must, right? But somehow in Web3, it feels like it's like rare.
Yeah. Yeah, no, I agree. That was like, I mean, I don't know if you ordered any of the iteration one shirts, but one of the reasons why, like literally when you get it, the unboxing experience like is like, I think it's a 10 out of 10 personally, because that's where I wanted it to be. Cause I'm like, I walked into a really nice high-end boutique, and I know what it's like when, you feel you get treated like a VIP, and then you get this amazing box. Like in Apple, I think sets the gold standard, right? Of like, what is an unboxing experience? What does customer service really look like? And it's like, how do we get to as close to as Apple as possible? Because that's like, that doesn't exist in the space right now.
Yeah, totally. I think a lot of teams, they also learn, right? But somehow they learn from Yuga, right? But the thing is Yuga, right? They can choose to not say anything, right, for a year, and then they launch something that can go huge, right? Because they're Yuga, right? Because they already got that grail position, right? But for a normal project, right, you can't just stay silent for a few months, right? Yeah, and you only come out when you have something to launch, when you want to get people's money, right? I think that doesn't make sense, right? And somehow, of course, I know that there's a benefit in it because it builds up the expectation, right? But I always believe that instead of using this kind of so-called expectation to drive price, I think a better way is to, hey, we constantly communicate, we constantly deliver, right? And so that, hey, our holders know that, hey, we are working, right? And maybe the newcomers, they know that, hey, this team is working. That's why at MEMELAND, we have a bi-weekly town hall. And then I also spend a lot of time on Discord and stuff, right? Because I want to tell people that I show up, right? Because showing up is like 80%, 90% of the game. Yeah, that's how to build trust. Because at the end of the day, people are actually paying a lot of money for your product, right? NFT is definitely a luxurious good, right? You mentioned going into a high-end fashion store and stuff. You are treated like a king or queen, right? My wife loves to browse at AMS all the time, right? And every time, I mean, AMS is not a good example because AMS sales doesn't really give a shit to you. Yeah. But Chanel and stuff, right? They care a lot about you. Gucci, right? They care a lot about you. And for NFT, when it's so expensive, you should make your holders feel so, right? And I feel like there's so many ways to do better than the normal competition. That's also another reason that I'm very bullish in MEMELAND, also in Web3, because even the top team, it doesn't feel that top. Yeah. It's not like, hey, Web2, right? When I compare myself with Mark Zuckerberg, right? Or TikTok guy, right? Yeah. It's like it's like so far away, right? But when I look at some NFT projects, right, I feel like no way I couldn't do better than that team.
No, but it's so true, right? And that's like, even for me with 90cc, that was like, well, like, because like I was angel investing and I was VCing a lot last year. And then like, I'd say it was towards the end of the summer, and I'm like, I think I have better ideas than some of the pitches that I'm listening to. I can do a better job than some of the teams that I'm seeing. Fuck this. I'm going to do something that I think is fucking cool, and hopefully other people will as well, right? And I agree with you. It's like the difference, Mark Zuckerberg to whatever, anybody is like a huge gap. But like Yuga to, whatever, a mid-tier project, for sure, Yuga has like, the positioning and they have the reach and all that. But like, it's not like something where it's like, oh my God, like I can never make Facebook today, right? Like, it's like, wait, totally. If I think I'm capable, I think I have a possibility of doing it, right? A lot of things have to go right. But like, there's that sense of like, hey, this is possible.
Yeah, totally. When the best company in NFT is only a year old, right? there's so much opportunity out there, right? And when more and more, I would say, experienced entrepreneurs started to go into the space, I think the whole bar will continue to increase, right? So that at the end, they will be on par with Web2 business, right? But right now, it's still very early because what I see is for a lot of big Web2 company, they are based in the US, and US has started to kind of like control crypto and NFT, right? That's why they have to be very careful when they launch any NFT because they have to be fear of whether regulation and stuff, right? But for us, we are based in Hong Kong. Our user base is very global, right? So we don't really have that kind of burden on us. So we feel like, hey, this is a chance for us to shine. It feels like hey, I've been working on NineGet for 14 years just to waiting for this kind of NFT wave. Yeah, and hopefully we can build something much bigger with MEMELAND. Yeah.
Yeah, no, I mean, I'm very much looking forward to it. You know, I know we're coming up on the we're at the hour, so I want to be cognizant of your time. Before I let you go, real quick though, I want to know what your thoughts are on Reddit NFTs.
It's great. Yeah, I mean, it's great in the sense that it gets more people talk about NFT. I mean, anything that gets more people talk about NFT is a good thing to the industry, because the worst case is people ignore it, right? Right now, when people talk about it, I think it's good. Yeah, that's the first thing. Second thing is I feel like people focus too much on the wordings. Yeah, a lot of people talk about, hey, Reddit, don't call it NFT, they call it digital collectible. I mean, this is definitely their marketing, right? But I don't think that's the game changer. Yeah, because to be honest, I think that most of the people who have a wallet or vote on Reddit, right, they know what NFT is. Yeah, of course, they didn't buy because they feel like it's very expensive, right? But somehow, because they trust Reddit, that's why they will pay $100 to buy. But they definitely know what NFT is. So I think whether Reddit call it digital collectibles or NFT, I don't think that makes a big difference for Reddit. Yeah, I think that's the second thing. The third thing is this is also the thing that I think a lot of people kind of misunderstand is you should not treat Reddit NFT as CryptoPunk or as a Bored Ape, and then to expect them to increase in value in the long run. Yeah, because when the company is launching such a huge collection, basically they are like Muji or Uniqlo, right? They are not like Gucci, right? They're Muji, not Gucci. Yeah, because they make use of that to open the gateway to something bigger on their product side. Yeah, but they are not trying to make NFT get royalty. By the way, royalty, yeah, people don't get it these days, right? Yeah, make NFT do more drops and then it will go up in value. I don't see that way. There are all kinds of car companies and clothes companies, right? But some are luxurious car that will have high resale value. Some are usable, very useful car, yeah, but they don't really have high resale value. Same case for the clothes. Yeah? You can resell a MS handbag, but you can't resell a Nike backpack, right? Yeah. So I feel like these three things are really great, yeah, because people talk about them. But I feel like the media kind of compare, hey, Reddit has more wallets than OpenSea. I think this is like a stupid comparison. Yeah, I bet that they have a lot of overlapping on one hand. Second thing is, it's not about how many wallets, right? It's about whether they actually understand what it is and then try to participate in the community and kind of like furthering the technology and stuff, right? So I feel like every positive move and every big company trying to leverage NFT and blockchain, I think this is great news. Yeah, and of course, for me, right, people always compare NineGet and Reddit, right? Of course, we are different in our own way. Yeah, but somehow this also gives more people confidence that, hey, if Reddit can do it this way, maybe NineGet can open their airdrop and then make a mass adoption later, right? That also help the MEMELAND expectation. And to be honest, right, Reddit does it that way. That also give us a good learning materials, because hey, maybe we can do it that way when we really apply MemeCon to our user base. Yeah.
Right. Okay. Cool. No, thank you. I feel very much the same way. Thank you for your time. Before I let you go, I usually ask guests what their favorite NFT is, but I'm going to switch it up with you. I'm going to ask you, what's your favorite meme of all time?
Favorite meme of all time? Oh, roll safe. Roll safe. The guy, right? Hey, be smart, right? Roll safe. It's called roll safe. Yeah. I think that's my favorite.
All the time. I use that one all the time. Like these.
Because with that gesture, right? you get what he means, right? And that is like really, I mean, it a picture is worth 1,000 works. Right? I think this one worth 10,000 works. Yeah.
Yeah, no, I agree with you. So thank you for coming on. Thank you for sharing a lot of your thoughts and your journey. What is the best way for people to keep up to date with everything you guys are working on?
Yeah, sure. Follow us on MEMELAND, right? At MEMELAND on Twitter. And also join our Discord. And if you want to follow me and see my shit posting, right? You can follow at NiGetCEO. Yeah, that's how you can reach me.
Okay, amazing. Well, thank you for coming on the show. This was a fun, awesome conversation, and I really love your vision and the way you're looking at the space. So I'm looking forward to everything that you guys are doing.
Yeah, thank you.
So awesome. Thanks everyone for tuning in.